And good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. Had a very nice move today in silver. Started off with interesting move in the overnight. We had a nice spike up in Asia, and we were consolidating, kind of a flag, consolidating a flag here. And then we had a surprise announcement of an interest rate hike from the Chinese. So all you speculators who wonder if the Chinese are connected somehow to the shorting, you may have something there. Promptly smacked it down about 1% from about 29.70 down to 29.30. But we immediately turned around at the New York Open and rallied hard. And rallied up above all the way to 30.35. We're falling off to 30.09, but was quite a rally. We seem to be forming up kind of a cup and saucer, cup formation here. You can see we've got kind of cup forming up here, and those are normally pretty bullish scenarios. So I expect we'll probably see new highs on this move. The MACD that we've been following starting to approach overbought. You can see it's approaching overbought. This is more on the 4-hour. The one we've been following has been the daily. And if we move out to the daily, you can see we're right about there on the red line. So you can see from a historical perspective, that's higher than normal. There's a lot of these breaks that move higher. So if it's a strong break, we should pass through that line and keep going all the way to overbought territory. If we approach this overbought territory up in here, I would expect to see $35 an ounce. So my target for the next move is around $35 before we see a correction. Would like to see normal healthy would be breakout to up to 35 and then a test back, looking at that would establish some support around in here like that. Back down to 31 is to create a floor at 31. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not going to say for sure whether we're going to get that, but that's what I'm looking for. And that just I wanted to point out some real simple fundamentals, actually technicals, but just some viewers have asked me to point out some of the support and resistance concepts that I'm dealing with, and it's really pretty simple. Support and resistance are very simple concepts. They're just based on human behavior, and they're based on the idea that people don't like to take a loss, which is that's the natural behavior when people trade markets. It's the opposite of what you should do. You should take your losses very quickly and get out, find a new place to get in, but people tend to ride their losers. What you need to do is ride your winners. This is I think it was Jesse Livermore who said that it was not my being right that made me my millions, but it was by sitting tight. So the way you make your money in a bull market is by sitting tight. Anybody can be right, but the question is, can they sit tight? So that's a similar concept, but support and resistance basically is the idea that people's behavior determines when they're going to try to sell. So when you have a point like this here, where we reach new highs and then we crash down and then we build up, we have a resistance line from the last high and this high, and so we got people there and people here. Basically, all these people in here that have purchased, they are at a loss. They're at a big loss there. They're at a loss through here, and these people some of them are looking to sell when the price approaches, so they can get out even. When the price approaches the point where they've purchased, and it goes through that point, and they're new buyers, and the old sellers are all gone, then when you're at this point right here in the rise, and you're above resistance, that means everybody right here that owned silver in 2006 in whatever date that was, January of 2006, everyone that owned silver was at a profit, except for 1980, but it was in the last 30 years. So that's a tremendously bullish situation. That's why new highs are the most bullish. A market that's moving into new highs is the most bullish market of any market. And you can see, once it broke out, it rocketed higher. And then as a natural correction, etc., it built up another one, and then it rockets higher. Why does it rocket like this? Because there's no sellers. Now, there are sellers. The sellers are going to be people who bought here to take a profit. But there's no sellers looking to get out to get even. There's no overhead resistance. That's the key concept. Overhead resistance is what creates sellers that are waiting to get out overhead. And as you can see, the price we're at right now at about 30.10. Overhead resistance, it would consist of these people that bought here. Would that trade a day? And the people that bought in this here was a few days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days. There's 6 days of overhead resistance in the last 30 years. There's only 6 days of people who are at a loss at the current price. If we pass through this price, we should expect to see a rocket shot just like we've seen before, because everybody is winning. Now, of course, that's the way the sentiment works, is that once you get 90-something% of the people in the market, everybody's winning, then of course it's going to go the other way. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about everybody as in all investors are winning. I'm talking about all the investors that currently are investing in silver, which is a very tiny percentage of all investors. But when we move into new highs, then all the people who are currently investing in silver are winning. So they don't have a reason to sell except to take a quick profit. And that's the key concept behind overhead resistance. So we're now approaching a point. We've got a nice cup and saucer forming up. We're approaching a point where we're going to have no more overhead resistance if we can get through 31.2. And then I think it's going to be off to the races. My next target is 35. We can see on the MACD for the 1 day, it's got a ways to run. If it runs to where it has run in the past, I don't see 35 as being out of the question at all. Hopefully it would correct back to 31 or so and then move higher from that point. Expecting 50 at some point, probably this year. So we'll wait and see, and I'll talk to you next time.